How to become a top 100 podcast in your category in Apple Podcast. This is actually a presentation that I gave at Podcast Movement Evolutions in LA in March of 2024 and felt that it would be, I got a lot of positive feedback on it and felt like it would be appropriate to put into the course. So, here we go. Let's see, I'm going to skip that one. Okay, so from not in the charts to the top 200 to the top 100 in 100 days. Here, let me move this. So what happened was several months ago, I noticed a sudden drastic increase in downloads and I couldn't attribute it. I didn't understand what was going on. So I reached out to a few podcast friends or pod peeps, pod pals, pod squad, whatever you want to call them. And I told them, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And they actually took it upon themselves to look into it. And this is one of the texts that I had gotten from a friend saying, dude, you're in the top 200 in the US for business. Actually, it was entrepreneurship, not business, but tomato. And I was like, wait, what? And then a different friend sent me this one. You're also listed in the Essentials, which there's only 8 podcasts listed in the Entrepreneurship Essentials. And I'm actually, last I checked anyway, still in the Essentials. And I've actually, I got in the top 200 and then the top 100, and I haven't dropped out of the top 200 since then. I don't know if I made it. So here, 94, I don't know if I got higher than that. That's the highest I saw it and was able to screenshot it, but it's possible that it went higher and I just didn't catch it because at a certain point I stopped checking. So I was kind of at that point on a mission to figure out, well, what the heck is happening? So first let me bust some myths. In terms of what people think will lead to more downloads or getting ranked in the top 1 or 200. So ratings and reviews. So ratings, reviews, and shares are not factored into the algorithm that determines the rankings. Influencing factors, but they may influence whether people will listen or follow, and those factors can influence the charts. And automatic downloads are not factored into rankings, and rankings cannot be purchased or sold. So in other words, just because you have someone rates you 5-star or leaves you a good review, those factors in and of themselves will not help you rank higher, but because of the positive social proof that causes, that can help influence people to actually listen, and then the more people listening, the more downloads, and so on. So kind of a roundabout way it could, but in and of itself, no. Okay, so what does count then? So I'm glad you asked, because that's why I'm here today. So according to Apple, there are 3 main factors that help you rank in Apple Podcasts. And that is listens, follows, and completion rate. So listens are when listeners are engaging with episodes. It's an indicator of content popularity. Follows are when listeners follow a show to receive new episodes. It's an indicator of their intent to listen. And completion rate is when listeners complete episodes. It's an indicator of content quality. So listens is an indicator of content popularity. Follows is an indicator of intent to listen. And completion is indicator of content quality. So Apple has revealed the 3 factors that are measured when ranking podcasts: listenership, follows, and completion rates. But here's what you really want to know. What actually contributes to increased listenership, follows, and completion rates? So I have come up with Sarah St. John's secret sauce because I love alliteration. See, I love alliteration. So Release more episodes, release shorter episodes, and submit your podcast for promotion on Apple Podcasts. So when releasing more episodes equals more downloads, which can hurt. Now, that's typically, that's not always the case, because some people will only listen to the most recent episode. Just because you have more episodes doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more downloads. It really only leads to more downloads if someone they find your show and they decide to listen to all your back catalog. Release shorter episodes. So episodes under 20 minutes increases the completion rate. You want to aim for a 70% completion rate. And so when I started doing this, my completion rate skyrocketed. So I was releasing one episode a week that was about an hour. And I tested out releasing 3 episodes a week at around 10, 20 minutes each. And I noticed that while those episodes maybe didn't necessarily get more downloads, though that was the case in some, the completion rate was higher. So the thing is like, people are listening to podcasts while they're doing other things. A lot of times it's when they're driving to work. Now that we are, back in the office and whatnot, or a lot of people. So people listen on their commute or whatever other activity, laundry, dishes, whatever. And so a lot of times, I think the average commute is like, I forget exactly, but somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. So if they start an hour episode and then they have to stop it because they got to work or whatever the situation is, the chances that they will pick it up and finish it, I mean, yes, people do that, but it's not a guarantee, and chances are better than not that they won't. So if you make episodes that are shorter, that they can consume in full, your completion rate will be much higher, which that does impact the rankings. That's one of the factors. So, and then submit your podcast for promotion on Apple Podcasts. It's free, but there's no guaranteed placement. So let me talk about that. Submitting your podcast for promotion on Apple Podcasts. So use the promotional request form, and I had it linked at the end of this, but I will include the links to all of the things that I'm about to talk about here. I will include under this video in the course. So use the promotional request form, submit eye-catching artwork, optimize your episode titles, so keep them brief and episode focused, leave episode numbers out of your title, and timing is key. So if you have a particular episode that's about a current event or news, holiday, or trending topic, these are more likely to get picked up. Now, let me go back to this leave episode numbers out of your title. What I mean by that is, if it's episode number 70, or let's say, episode number 7, you don't necessarily want to put like episode 7 : and the name of the episode. I think it's okay if you do like 7 period, but to put the word episode in front of it is not necessary. But even, I mean, any characters you have is taking up real estate space. So it's kind of up to you. If your episode title that particular day is shorter than average and, it won't look weird, then okay. However, I do recommend having numbers in your title, and it has no relation to what episode number you're on. But like if you have an episode about the 7 ways to whatever, or the top 10 whatever, anything that has a number in it, I have noticed gets more clicks. Even like $100 whatever, like anything with a number, whether it's a dollar amount, like a listicle type thing. Anyway, that's kind of just a side note. I just wanted to explain what I meant by that. Okay, so things to keep in mind. So when submitting for Apple Podcast promotion is your podcast has ideally been active for at least 90 days. You can submit a new request every 6 to 8 weeks, and you can be featured more than once, but you will not be notified if you've been featured. So that's kind of frustrating, and I don't really understand it, but it is what it is. And so here's the thing. While I routinely guest on other podcasts, I haven't been a guest on a podcast that's so large that would have contributed to the spike in downloads. So I did submit an Apple Podcast promo months prior to this happening. And to this day, I still don't know if that is what happened. But that is my best guess. That is the only thing that makes sense. The only thing I can think of is that they picked me for an Apple promo. And then like a feature. And then that's how I got in the top 200 and then the top 100 and have maintained in the top 200 since then. And then here are the links here. I will link to these down below the video. This is just a QR code to these slides, which I am also including down below. So you will have access to these slides as well as the links that are mentioned in this. And those links, so this first link here, that will take you to the Airtable to submit your Apple Podcast promo. And then all of these others are just kind of FAQs or kind of some of the stuff I touched on a little bit. But anyway, I hope this is helpful. I know this was a quick video. When I did it in person, I had 15 minutes, but I got it down to like 7 or 8, and then I had Q&A the rest of the time. So if you do have any questions or there is any confusion or whatever, feel free to comment below or send me a message directly, and I will be sure to answer it. And thanks for listening, and I'm glad I was able to utilize this presentation in the course itself. Here, let me just do this one just for kicks. So this is kind of stupid. So host a frugalpreneur, podcast marketing agency, aptly called podcast marketing agency because SEO. And then I'm like, I like music, concert, dancing, podcasting, obvi, traveling, jet skiing, four-wheeling, snorkeling, candlelit dinners, and walks on the beach. And then when I said this, I was like, oh, wait, that's my dating profile. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks again for watching this. And again, let me know if you have any questions or confusion on this.